Oof. Wow. I wasn't even going to record on here, but I was just, when I turned this tablet on, I was like, oh, it's 5:55. And I'm investigating some numbers. Today's my mom's birthday. It's 2/22. And it's also my day. Not my quote, rebirth date, but that's May 19th. But, 222 is a special number. Let's see actually what it is for everybody. Let's just do it like that. Angel number. I just wanted to see what might come up without putting in, angel number or whatever. Because until, the past few years, maybe 2 years, angels have been on the periphery of at least my my words, mostly my words and my whatnot, my output, but have been there in a growing sort of, not interest, but investigation, confirmation, because I'm interested in, everything, all kinds of learning and whatnot, and connections and all of that stuff, and angels as well. But like for me, ascended masters has been like if I was gonna pick a term that was already out there, in the esoteric, spiritual, new age, whatnot. I wonder if new age is talking about the age of Aquarius. See, look at me. I can't even click on that. Here, let's just do this, and so we can get that little. But so 2/22, February 22nd is my mom's birthday. But it turned out, I might have just said this in my numerology when I had it done. So that for me was like before angel numbers, it was numerology. But, I don't know if it's with everything that's going on, the shifts and whatnot, if, the angels per se. See, I don't even really know if there's a distinction, quite frankly. I was just planning on writing and or maybe drawing, but then I was like, oh, I want to clean my room first because it's a little messy, because I crawled into bed when I got home, right when I left to go to my kiddo's basketball game. I left the other bed in the room. There's, it's a hotel room with 2 queen beds, and the other bed is, it's reserved for Riley, but, I sleep in the bed that I sleep in, and it's got, all my own bedding and whatnot, but I was all spread out with my art supplies and stuff, and then, was doing that kind of up until it was time to go to her game yesterday. And then when I got home, I had an experience. I actually got pulled over. I don't want to get into that story, but I didn't get a ticket. But I did get some shocking information that kind of like gut punched me a little bit, soul punched me in my heart chakra for like a split second. I was in the car just like, okay, officer, I'm not going to say his name, but nice officer, who when I opened the door, I saw him before, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to get pulled over. Like, I just felt it. And in those situations when it's like, I've talked about your intuition and whatnot. So there's intuition and, reality and the laws of life and, the DMV and whatnot and the PTB. So I was like, oh, I saw, like, I don't have very good night vision. I have excellent night vision as far as, like woo-woo-y, like finding stuff in the dark and like reaching over and just like energetically at night. But my eyeballs, not the best, and driving for me in general at night, unless I have really good lenses on my eyes, optimal condition. So, and then it was raining, and so I made a like last minute like decision to pull into 7-Eleven, and I wasn't exactly sure. Oh yeah, it was tobacco was what I needed, like in the, but I also was like, oh, I need to, for a few days, go to the store, and, my last grocery shopping is dwindled down, although I did find another bag that I had put in my closet that had some more of this acai blueberry pomegranate juice, which when I took the first sip, I was like, and I should have like paid attention, but it was at the dollar store, so it wasn't like I wasn't there for groceries. I was there for little cleaning supplies and whatnot. But I knew that they sell food there as well. So I took a little stroll down the aisles and saw this juice, and I was like, oh yay, juice for $1. And I didn't really look at it. I just saw that it was, blueberry, pomegranate, and whatnot. And I don't have a freezer here. In my little fridge, I like to buy frozen juices. Like, that's my ideal, at least budget wise. When I can afford it, I like really yummy fresh juice. I don't have a problem paying $8 for some cold pressed tangerine juice or whatever. But yeah, so I pulled in, and then I also decided to get a lottery ticket because because I want to win the lottery. But the drawing is tonight, which is, it's 2/22. It's my mom's birthday. And the last three 2/22s have been sort of tower moments, and kind of co-opted, which I kind of was like, oh no, like when I saw the cop sitting there, and he was parked the street, he was parked on the other side of the street, and the way I was parked facing, like, my front of my car was, pointing at him, and he was sideways at the time, and I was like, oh shit. And then I was kind of like looking like, is there a way I can turn down a different street? But what I started to say back with the like free will and the laws of all variety, is that the way I work generally is like I will see a cop or, whatever. If I'm speeding, I don't like panic. I don't put on my brake either. I just like take my foot off the gas and, coast down to the speed limit. But, which is funny because although this was like, it's gonna happen. And, I was, which might be why it happened. Kind of like I've talked about my mom saying, these things are gonna kill me. And I'm like, Mom, like, why are you putting that out there? So, I don't know, even at this stage, how much wiggle room there is, especially if it's not for me, if it's like something is really like whoop, fast, like whoop, I'm speeding and singing in the car and, listening to my music, and which I do when I'm alone. Like I don't, I speed a little with Rye in the car, but I don't worry about cops and speeding and getting pulled over and whatnot. Maybe because my first experience getting pulled over I was just like, part of me was a little like excited, like, oh my God, I'm getting pulled over. And like, oh shit, like, because I was going well over 100 miles an hour. Can you hear that? Yeah, I was basically doing that in my new Jetta, and just like woof, flying. I was moving from Maryland to Arizona and driving across country, and I was in Texas, and just like this cop just boop, I don't know where he saw me, but yeah, he was like whoop whoop whoop, and I'm like, oh shit, oh my God. And so I was like like adrenaline nervous, and but like, there was no like, I wasn't speeding, and he was like, so you were going a little fast. And then the reason this story is because I'm just kind of like whatever, but I got pulled over again by the same cop, and it was a ways down the road though, because I was like driving like ridiculously slow. This is like the middle of nowhere, Texas, and when you're driving across country and those long stretches of road, that's kind of the law of the land, which is probably why I would bet if I did a little Google of speed limits, I would imagine that those areas were the first to get higher speed limits up into the like, oh, okay, that's not like, turtle speed limit, like 55 on a stretch of highway when you're driving thousands of miles, truckers, whatever, people driving across country like myself. That's ridiculous. And, 65, that was the, like, oh, wow. That was the first real speed limit. And I think maybe it's the top speed limit. But anyway, yeah, so I did that, and I was like, and I got a ticket, and then I got another ticket. And, that was that. That car, though, was a beacon because I also got parking tickets on that car in Tucson right when I first got there. But there was like a monsoon, and I was just like, ah. and I left it parked, and then I couldn't start it because, the monsoon season in the desert, the water gets pretty high. I mostly drove a motorcycle while I was there. I sold my Jetta, and then I sold it to the Volkswagen dealer and got a Squareback, which I loved that car. And then I actually sold that car. I begged and pleaded and was just like a real, me, selfish little shit, to my friend at the time. It was my first girlfriend of my life, which I might have talked about. I know I have, somewhere in doing these recordings, and whether or not it's, uploaded. It was my, and I just mentioned this yesterday. I was like, do you remember because a friend, oh my God, that's so fucking crazy. So that's so bizarre. But hello. And I just noticed that said 6:15, which is my birthday, on the thing, on this. And then it was also, creeping up to those numbers. But I just found out a friend of ours, oh my God, friend is a stretch of the word. When I was in San Francisco and the earthquake happened, and I whoosh, jumped back to the East Coast. I initially went back to the farm, my parents' property in Maryland, Terrapin Station, and then went to Connecticut to move in with Colleen. Hello, Colleen, up there around here, whatever. She loved the drama, so, however, wherever she was, and, on the, quote, other side, I have my opinions, and I'm sort of re-evaluating what I have believed historically, the things that have resonated with me. Reincarnation resonated with me. Just as I was not planning on doing this after I cleaned my room up, and I was going to write, I was thinking, because I've been saying I do things backwards to myself. I'm like, oh, haha, that's just an awareness from, pulling together thinkings and evolution of my thought and knowledge and experience and whatnot. But starting with when I was young and, was a medium and didn't know it. And then how that has evolved, and, my skills, my ability, my clarity in doing this without a teacher, an embodied teacher. I just I knew things, my own things, but more so huge things, like the marriage of spirituality and science in terms of physics, theoretical physics, patterns, this stuff, synchronicities, things, religious ideas that I was they're all the same at the core, the core message. It's all the same. And the rest is just interpretation and or intentional misinformation, or communication in one way or another that is intentional and or you know, based on people in power. It's like, you know, history is written by the victor kind of an idea. The people in power, specifically like the Bible, because all of the Eastern stuff and non-religious, like spiritual, the non-Judeo-Christian religion, and then later, you know, Islam and whatnot, but that's still like they're cousins. But maybe like the Hatfields and the McCoys, cousins. But you know, I truth resonates, and that's why, like for me, like with doing this, you know, part of me was like, oh, I don't, you know, I don't want people to think that if I start asking for money, I don't want people to, you know, think I'm, actually it was before that. It was like for me reaching out to, you know, famous people online, social media and whatnot, comments, and most of which, like if I have something that I'm really called to say to someone, I do it privately. And I just realized like, boop, I'd get responses, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, like so and so. And it's funny being with, in my last relationship, being with someone who just like didn't even care about that. Like most people, just because that is like, oh, that is what means everything, is like, you know, having somebody like co-sign you or whatever, acknowledge you, or on social media. But perhaps it's because I have been actively avoiding any sort of fame, delaying, you know, blowing up, etc. All of the things that so many people, you know, that is their, that's why they're doing it. And, you know, for me, that was part of it. It was like, I didn't even want to join. 89, the year of my graduation. That came technically later, because I do things backwards. That's just like a perfect example, is that technically I didn't graduate high school until I went to college. And not even art school is when I went to college for real. You know, academic college. Because really, I didn't even go to art school. I went to San Francisco. And so, but the thing, and I think why it happened, and that, I'm just all rambly. See, maybe if I write the notes down and I'm going to talk about this, but that just seems, I don't know, I just, like, I keep resisting doing that. Even just now, I was preparing to write, and that for me, on my, you know, soul evolution, you know, whatnot, but it's not even, it just like, words and boxes and whatnot are so sticky. But so I know everyone who thinks this, is that, you know, we are here, you know, a lot of people are trying to go there and not go there. And, you know, assume time is like this, boop, goes there, and goes there. And, you know, if you're spiritually inclined and, you know, on the woo-woo, frou-frou, non-Christian dogma. Oopsie. All right. This is apparently, I was going to make a little doodle. I like that. See, there's the part of me that's a little bit of a perfectionist. You know, now I gotta change colors. Well, I don't have to. Let's do, I was feeling purpley. You know, it's like, oh, even if you get to the point that the present moment, like, time is not linear. I'm still, there's a drawing there that is somewhere, but, it's, you know, 3-dimensional, at least. That's what I'm like, okay, let's see how this, you know, these 5Ds and whatnot, evolve. It's fun for me. But I'm not attached to any of it. None of it. This 222 could be just me and my reality believing and, you know, taking hold of the idea that, you know, we create our own reality in the simplest sense, you know, but at its fullest power and manifestation would be, you know, I bought a lottery ticket and I picked a set of numbers, and, you know, keep in mind, it's only right now, so at any moment, and this was me trying to work out the kinks and whatnot, and then I was just like, fuck it, I don't really, honestly, like, I don't give a shit. And it was also like, I don't give a shit about winning the lottery or not. And not that I am present at all moments, but that's where I try to operate from, center myself to. And in that, like a lot of people talk about, you know, create your own reality, which to me, like, I got a long time ago, and it was not woo-woo. It was, you know, psychological. It was like, and it was, for me, it's always, you know, multi-layered. So it's psychological and spiritual. And it was on the spiritual level, talking about, you know, these guys, these beliefs, which I was like, nah, you know, or okay, maybe, but nah, heaven and hell, right? So to me, how that parallels with the create your own reality, and how do I get rid of this guy? I can't, maybe because that's out, but attitude adjustment, you know, how you see things. You know, people are like, oh, she made me so mad. No. And this takes time and practice and self-reflection and, you know, really being honest with yourself. Even if you're not doing it with anybody else, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And so that's one perspective of this, is like, I picked these numbers, boop, 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 boop. I'm being present, doot, 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 doot. You know, time is only right now. But that drawing is, I think, at 8 o'clock today. Yesterday, though, when I picked those numbers in that moment, which is now this moment, which will be, probably more like that moment, or, maybe not 8:01, but 8:03. I don't know how long it takes to do the lottery, because for one, see, that's the thing, is like, oof, if can be present, like physically, like I can more actively co-create with a situation. But that's a topic for another day. So in this moment, it's now, what the clock's reading, 6:27. Wherever you are, if you're looking at this on a screen, you're seeing my, Saturday, February 22nd. But you may watch this, Thursday, June 15th, 2029. I was going to say 27. That's funny, but I switched it. It will still be this moment, and this picking the numbers moment, and this moment, etc. So I know that it's possible, but whether it's a matter of me, like, whatever, like, I don't care, or for whatever reason I haven't tuned into that capability. But going back to my original thought of, like, we control our realities, well, if that is true, then 100%, like, the numbers that I picked, and by the time you're reading this, there'll be another video that said, oh my God, I won, or whatever. Because that has happened. I didn't win, but I picked the numbers, or I didn't pick them. Oh, my dreams. I had another, like, wake up, like, boom, like nuclear bomb wake up, which I'm curious, once I have an audience, getting some feedback from people about, if anyone else has experienced this. Like, I had a dream that I was lucid in. This is where it started. You're like, hey, you're switching topics. Sorry. That is the happy high yoga way. It's my prerogative. But these dreams. So the first one I had, I've had a lot of sort of like cataclysmic, apocalyptic. One dream that sticks in my head was I remember dreams. I've had so many dreams about Madonna, like, just of, like, roller skating naked on a tennis court, which I wanted to see, like, because I know one of her albums, there's roller skates, because that's our, youth. She's a little bit older than me, not too much, but, roller skating in the 70s and 80s and whatnot. But so, like, pop culture, retro, creative, nostalgia. But I know that there's roller skates in around one of her albums, and I feel like it's the one that's like pink and sparkly, and Confessions from a Dance Floor, maybe. but I am just like, just with these dream connections and whatnot, and then also like a past life thing. I'm just curious to see like when that album came out, like what years, and I could probably patchwork back ish, but really not when I had that dream. It was definitely in Seattle before going to Kauai, right around my 33rd birthday, which was when my, great awakening, when my life got really weird. It's always been weird, and it's always been, I've had Kuan Yin in my life since I was 12, so not just in my life, like, oh, Kuan Yin, I bought a statue and a blah. Kuan Yin was in my mom and woke me up. My mom woke me up, thinking that she was going crazy because, same but different. Like awareness and whatnot. And I'm starting to get interested in metaphysics and whatnot. And then, she didn't expect to start channeling, first writing and then trance channeling. But Kuan Yin told me that I was a channel, which for a long time in the retelling, I said that she told me I would be. And I think that was part of my, I'll notice things that I've been like saying, like, oh, da 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 da, which I just had this happen in talking about Kuan Yin, and this in particular, like me channeling, I would do like ish Kuan Yin interpretation or interpretation, same. I would do it in her Kuan Yin, which that voice has faded to a large degree. The way that her voice, her being, would come through vocally when my mom was channeling. So it was, we come up on you now, but I don't want to do it. But it sounds almost like Indian, Middle Eastern, but yeah, just, it wasn't the way my mom talked. So, but it was the way my mom would, or Kuan Yin, would begin a channeling session. And when it was just me, she used to call me Beloved One. And just like, still it makes me feel like a little girl, and just like no matter, even if I'm like 87 years old, I'll still feel like that in comparison to this, who I would come to discover, Ascended Master, all of those like stories about Kuan Yin. That's me getting it. I think I just took off all my alarms, but about going to get dinner. And I was like, they keep interrupting me, but so which remind me to go if I want to go get dinner. It ends at 7. But let's see, that just distracted me. But so, oh yeah, opening a channeling. Oh yeah, it was the Beloved One. Just because, some like, which haha, like that's why me doing this the way that I do it is I'm getting like boop 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 thoughts, or flowing while I'm talking, and a lot of times I'll be like, you know, like just, but I'm much more grounded at the moment. And so she would say, you know, to me, like, beloved one, we come upon you now in this moment. Oh, that's interesting. In this moment, I just said it wrong, and I knew I was saying it wrong. It was like, in this space and time or whatever, but it was, we come upon you now in this moment with such great, grand love. It is the love of the Father we come with. It is the love of the Father you also are. And then, boop. So that was a little-ish, but those were the words. And I had, like, whoa. I was, like, meditating and whatnot in the last few days. And I think it might have been the 3-hour or 3.5-hour recording that was just going to be like a note to self. But that came, well, it came first in my meditation. And then as I was kind of coming out of it, I just, you know, started reading the Bible again. But I didn't start at Genesis because I really am like, you know, I get it, like begot, beget, begot, begot, beget, and no offense to the family tree and whatever, and who knows, I'm probably in there somewhere, and I'm like, haha, fuck you, former self. But it's really just like, bleh. It's kind of why I just stopped paying attention in history, because there were too many names and dates, and you know, ADD, if it's not interesting enough, I just got something about a history teacher in Laguna, a history class that I did take, that, and I feel like the history teacher, I might be confusing people, but I just got the name Heath, and, you know, reddish hair, but very like, much more brown, than even, you know, like, I call my daughter's hair copper. It's, you know, it's the kind of red hair that I was attracted to, which, you know, when I was much more limited in my love potential and basing it on, you know, just superficial dumb shit, you know, like I used to say, like, I would never date a guy who wore white sneakers. Well, then I had to amend that to no, like white basketball sneakers. And this was, you know, many years and decades before I got the, like, puppy dog smack on the nose with the newspaper by Kuan Yin about using absolutes. You know, I always, and that was one of the things that on the spiritual journey, like, for me, it was just like, boom, it was like I'd have a thought and then immediately, like, be confronted with a situation. It was, you know, and then it became more and more that I would start to think a thought and then stop myself. It was a process that went from, you know, me being a shallow teenager that, you know, oh, I'm not attracted to redheads, but, you know, if I were to be, it would be, you know, this type of a redhead. Or, I used to say, like, oh, I don't like country music. But then I was like, that's not true. I'm like, I don't like, well, I used to say, I don't like country music. I like every type of music, from opera to punk to rap to this to jazz to blah, 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 except for country and slow jams. But there were a few of each, and then I was like, actually, like, I like old school country. So I'd say, like, just like that was an absolute, and it was true, and it was just a matter of personal preference and taste, which, hello, you're obviously allowed to have. Even if you only want to date fellow skinheads that have red hair that is, shaved off, or, downstairs. That's your choice. It certainly wouldn't be my preference. But that is how, my attraction and whatnot evolved and whatnot, with everything. My personal preferences became wider and wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. So in the spirit of doing things backwards and saying, like, oh, I love everyone, for if it was like, and this is what I started to think that I was going to write, when I was finished cleaning my room, was, for me, I have known what isn't before I have come to understand and or believe what is. My God isn't judgy, us and them, Leviticus, all that fucking bullshit. And my God isn't a wrathful, vengey, I was just watching Chaos. I binged the whole thing last night and was up until 7 in the morning. It's really good. But, Zeus is petty and, just, like, his ego is, like, woof, fully intact. And apparently, he's sharing the soul of his his dad, in the mythos of the show. And, I would assume, I don't remember specifically I don't remember the name of the parents of the gods. I had it last night. I'm like, not the Gorgons, that's what Medusa is. And Debbie Mazar, oh my God, as Medusa. It's like, yeah, smoking hot and just amazing, and just like, oh, really great role. But, so, my early, young preteen, teen, 20s, primarily, in regards to these beliefs, my understanding of God, which is, it's mercurial, and to this day, it's one thing today and it's something else tomorrow, and it just kind of, it is and it isn't. And it's limitless potential and love. That's all, that's boop. And those things, the core of my belief system, has pretty much not changed, which I had a realization about. I was like, wow, I really haven't changed that much. I mean, I have changed, like, in countless ways and whatnot. There's nothing but change. That's the way of nature, So yeah, absolutes. I totally got off track. But yeah. Oh yeah, it started with time, I think, was where I was first. That's what this was, or was going to be, was that, sort of, me with my 3D, 5D, because I got this vision, the first time I understood, I was taught that there's only the present moment, and I was like, okay, that's weird, but I get it now. And back to the lottery thing, this moment, to you listening, looking at my dates, although it's going to be another date for you, but it's this moment, this moment, this moment, it's that moment. At 1:47 a.m. What? That makes no sense. Okay. Does it matter? Maybe. Like, are you gonna get all, like, is it gonna break your brain? If it's breaking your brain, put it aside. Put it to the side for another moment. Oh, I don't have my pen. Another moment. But in terms of these lottery numbers, at the moment of me writing them, handing them to the guy, which was a difficult situation, because I couldn't get my tap to pay. It was, and I only had $30 in cash. And, but so the moment I, bought the ticket, and each moment that I stay present up until the moment that, I am looking at my ticket and holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. That moment's potential, that experience's potential is ever present. And the part is about when that present becomes manifested reality in tangible form. Here's the gift of your many, many millions of dollars. There's a whole lot more at play there. And, so far, the closest I've gotten to figuring it out, if there was an easy formula, if it was that simple, then, we would all win every time we played. But then, like, what's the point of that? But for me, like, I know it's that simple, and yet so multifaceted in its complexity and whatever, Or is it, that's where your own personal belief system comes into play. And for me, having, dreamed about the numbers, written them down, told the person next to me in bed, like, we gotta play these numbers tomorrow, going back to sleep, waking up, doing our day, I had plenty of money at that time. And, I was very young. I was 18. And that money would have just been like, woo, bye. Like all of the other money that has come and gone. But it would have been, it was not my path. And whether I chose that path, in my soul contract with my soulmates, okay, we're going to meet up, and then I'm going to da-da-da, and then I'm going to meet you here, and then this is going to happen, and then the earthquake in 89, and then I'm going to get scared of earthquakes. They're not going to be fun for me anymore, so I'm going to go to the East Coast, and then but I know some people from the West Coast, from San Francisco, and then I'm going to go and live with Colleen. You're not resting, but maybe, whatever you're doing, let's do, spirit in, peace, or play, or sippy cup. Yeah, so that's how I ended up with my first girlfriend, who wasn't Colleen. Colleen wanted me to be her girlfriend. And no, not gonna happen. Didn't happen. No, thank you. But other things happened, and didn't win the lottery. Why? Who knows? Honestly, who cares? I've been saying that, my story about why has evolved, or why not. At first it was because I'm such a fucking idiot. Oh my god, I can't believe it. What the fuck? How stupid. Like, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then it was like, oh, it was a funny story. And then it was like, oh, you had your chance. That was your one and only chance. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, I don't want to believe that. And that evolved. And then, as I evolved and whatnot, to the point where I'm fine with, any level of income, or, money in the bank. I got run over and I'm disabled, so I can't work a job for someone else. So, my money is going to come from, what I get every month. My trust fund, I used to call it. I forgot I used to call it that. But, oops. I'm like, I'm still on eraser. But, so free will, all of the beliefs and whatnot, they're up to you, what you believe about what I have to say is up to you, If you want to support me saying it financially, I have added, my ways to do that on my YouTube thingy. I didn't want to do that for a while because my own whatevers, but now I'm like, yeah, please pay me, support me, whatever, because I have really big plans, and that's why, the whole lottery thing is even a thing, is because that would be one potential that seems like it could be easy to like boop have a chunk of money, because I do know that I need to be in control of my own flow, and I'm good at sharing, and I'm good at allowing the abundance to, like, which way did the thumbs go? Here's my little handsies. Boop. Ready to receive. Yes, indeed. This is just a little illustration that I've used. Like, yep, comes to me, like what I need, and then whoop, keep it moving. Keep it moving, So I'm not limiting, resisting abundance in any form, because not only do I deserve it and I've worked for it, and is it like more than possible, whether it's from God, from the collective, whatever the source is, and for me that is many things. I'm open to the endless, infinite nature possibility that I can't really wrap my head around. But I just have faith, and I've seen it at play for so long. And, Kuan Yin telling me that I had a fear of success, and sort of unwrapping that gift, that lesson, those many, many lessons, and just trying to like figure out all the threads, and really how to like, oh please, like I'm open, I'm ready, like yeah, like spontaneous healing, boom, my mom and Kuan Yin and the source energies, and a crystal, and a woman who was open, she had cancer and then she didn't. And I've done some weird shit. I've done like, for other people. And then when I got run over, I was out of whack. Like, that was like when you're in like pain, and this can be any kind of pain, that is so like, it is almost beyond what we can handle, regardless of how strong we are, where we are. It's really distracting. And so of course me like trying to be stoic and like and be positive and whatever, but I was still like, oh, and knowing these things, knowing, my mom and her physical body and all of its parts, coupled with the PTB source, healed a woman. Jesus did it all through the Bible. It's, it's a thing. So I was like, I believe it. I totally believe it. But then I was like, why can't I do it on myself, But maybe I did. Maybe that's what when I came back into my body, and I couldn't move, and I was like, I immediately said no to that and started saying, I can wiggle my fingers, I can wiggle my toes. Like, as soon as I thought it, as soon as I was like, nope, to it's alternative, it happened, And then Uma did it in Kill Bill years later, It's like I just got a funny little, back to the beginning of what I was saying is if I am the creator of my own reality, then maybe I created that movie. I created, YouTube. What's his name? Al Gore created the internet, He didn't do that in my reality, but he said it, and it's hilarious. And not that I want to poke at Al Gore, because he is an earth guy and an environment guy and all that good stuff. I don't want to take anything away from anyone. I want to serve. I want to heal. I want to help. I want to teach. I want to just keep the flow flowing. Shit, I missed dinner. So that is not going to flow, whatever that food was, into my being, because I'm feeding my soul right now. I'm not hungry. That's part of the problem with this whole dinner time here, is that this isn't, when I eat dinner, I don't eat dinner at dinner time. I tend to want to eat dinner at 11 p.m., or, that's usually when I'm like, oh, I'm getting a little hungry, or whenever I'm hungry, which is why it's really nice to have food and a refrigerator. And, I don't have a kitchen in this hotel room, but, so many people don't have that. I don't have a kitchen, Is that because I don't deserve one? Absolutely not. Am I oh, fuck, my life sucks, I don't have a kitchen, oh, I fucking missed dinner, I made the choice to miss dinner, although it wasn't a totally conscious choice. When I was turning off my alarm that I had set to a little bit earlier, because I had one set for, closer to the end of dinner. I think it's served from 5:30 to 7. I haven't checked. I haven't been here that long, so, I was just happy to have a fridge and whatnot, and we take those things for granted. And it's just whew, I'm all over the place, so I sort of apologize. But hopefully you've hung up on this call, this video, before you got here. And if you're still with me, then thank you. But yeah, I'm just in a state of allowing what is possible to become manifest. And the beauty of my position is that, what is that? Did I doodle that? That, oh yeah, it's on a really small. That I choose, oh, that's me, okay. I choose to, not create my own Funko Pop. Let's see what that is, though. Funko Pop. Pop yourself, your friends, and family at Funko. Design as, oh, hey, maybe I do create Funko. I have no idea what this is. Oh my god, yeah. I totally would do that. Hold on, reject. Is that a Funko? Is it only sports? I don't know what I would, whatever, about Phantoms, let's see. I'm guessing a Funko is that little thingy. But the point is, no thank you. Yeah, it's a pop character. Pop yourself. I just saw one of those last night in the 7-Eleven. Shortly before, I saw a Popo outside and wasn't sure if my free will could overrule in that moment, which it ultimately did, because although I got pulled over, and, I'm in Oregon and I'm preparing to get everything on the car registered and whatnot here. I was in Vancouver, and when the whoop whoop, happened, I was like, oh, fuck. But I knew it was happening, so I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And I opened the door and was just like, oh my god, I haven't been pulled over in like 35 years. And the sheriff laughed. And, he had red hair. And I just like looked at him. He's like, and I was like, okay, well, and I said, oh no, it hasn't been that long. I'm only 53. But I was talking about the time in Texas, but which is, the only other time I think that I've been pulled over, and gotten a ticket. I've had interactions with police. I my night vision when we were still in Humboldt, and I was new there, and I was trying to find my way home, and we had moved to that was really like shortly after I got there, but we moved into this tiny little studio that was just like, because we were just like, we had to have our own place, and I was driving and had been drinking, but that's something that I do not take lightly, and but combined with my terrible night vision, and I probably didn't have glasses even then. I don't know. I don't remember. Or I did, but but no, I don't think I did, because I wasn't wearing glasses on the island, and I had just gotten back to the mainland and had very little And yeah, so that was probably on my like mainland to-do list. Like, oh yeah, I should go get some glasses if I'm gonna be driving. Because on Kauai I didn't have a car until I did, but had use of a car. And it's just my night vision thing too is also about like if I know where I'm going and I know the way, then I'm not really worried about not having glasses, because that is a matter of just being alert for things that pop up, animals and or people or whatever. But yeah, I was in rural Humboldt, like, because I was trying to get back to, we were living in Eureka, and I had gone past wherever, and it goes from being like, city, quote, quote, it's more like a town. It was like when people, on Kauai were like, oh yeah, I'm going to town, meant, going to the like little couple blocks of whichever, like Kapa'a or Hanalei or whatnot, but then Lahui, that was like, quote, the city, but nobody called it that. But similar in Humboldt. So I was driving and it was night and it appeared to be, the pavement, that you're not the thing in the middle of the road to do an illegal U-turn. Well, there are places, that you can do that. But it looked like, because it was all like repaved and like had the little, little yellow side of the road, tick, 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 reflector thingies. And I didn't know where the next, like, you can turn around legally here was. And it looked like it was straight, like nice new road, and, maybe illegal or not. Rural-ish laws are different than urban. And I like started to do my U-turn, and then bam, there was a little, well divot in the road, and I was in it, and I was not getting out of it. And I don't know if I had my cell phone or what. Yeah, I think I was just sitting there. But then shortly after it happened, the sheriff, oh yeah, I didn't have any phone. So the sheriff pulled up and was like, hey. And I was like, hi. And I was a little like, oh shit, like that was kind of part of my training as well, of the like, what can I get away with, and the following the law and breaking the laws. Like, we all speed, we all, I don't know, other laws that are just like we don't even know about or whatever. But speeding is the simplest thing that most people do, and including me. But this was a like, but after my leap of faith to Kauai, this was, my leap of love back to the mainland. So I had little tests that I've been through, like getting on the plane, getting to Kauai with no money, and no passport, no ID, and medicine in my little medicine bag around my neck, with a little bit of ganja. Not for, it was in a medicine bag. So, but it was, we are not the droids you are looking for. So, I had that down-ish, but still, it's a training thing. Similar to, like, these are the lottery numbers that will win. But I'm in the ditch, whatever, and the lady was like, have you been drinking? I'm like, yeah. I had a Jack Daniels, however long ago. And she's like, okay. She didn't even make me get out of the car. I was coherent enough and, I was sober. And she ended up calling me a tow truck. I had no money. Nothing. Maybe I didn't even have my wallet. I don't even remember. But I forgot about this. But yeah, like, boop, protected. On a mission. Not trying to hurt anybody. Yes, breaking the law, but boom. So, same thing happened last night, basically. Saw the cop, then saw the whoop whoop. I wasn't looking back because I was like, nope, I'm not going to but I saw that his lights, he pulled out of park when I pulled onto the street that he was parked on, and then I made a left turn, and I saw his, but he was coming. I'm like, fuck, he was coming for me. That's why I was like, man, I can't, outmaneuver this. This is going to happen. So then it was a matter of like, okay, this is going to happen. Let it happen my way. The best outcome for me. And it did. I was, he took the registration and stuff and my ID and went and did his thing. He was in his thing for such a long time, and he came back. He was like, are you watching a show? I'm like, yeah. I was watching Love is Blind. He's like, so, good news is, no ticket, but when I ran your name, a restraining order popped up. That means currently, legally, today, I can't call my friend and co-parent, who I had just been hanging out with. We were all sitting in her car after a Rise basketball game, singing, because Riley was singing, and she's getting her sing back on, which she got insecure for a while, but she heard her own voice and liked it, is what's happening. And so we just had fun for, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes after her game. And which I was like, oh my God, I was just, like, we were just at our daughter's game, and then, sitting in the car, and I didn't tell him we were singing, Hamilton, which I don't know all the lyrics, but he was like, yeah. I was like, oh shit, seriously? Like, this isn't from last year on my mom's birthday when it got filed. And he's like, oh, damn. And he's like, no. I was like, oh my God. Like, went through a whole bunch of like, what? But I think it was, I'm choosing to believe it was done unintentionally. I was told that the whole original thing, the original restraining order and everything that it said in it, labeling me a dangerous person, to my kid, and, well, technically, in it said that she was not my daughter. And, bop. And this one said that I have proven to be, which is why I'm like, okay. But my ex's name and signature is not on this. But yeah, this one says that I represent a credible threat to the physical safety of, and, it does say, or this order prohibits the use of physical, and, or, I don't know. But, yeah, this was, so the cop, the last night, the sheriff, he had to serve me because this was not, it was never served, which, was kind of a pattern of behavior that this shady lawyer, her name's Josephine Townsend. Yeah, and she should be disbarred. She's been fired by the plaintiff. That's not what in the, separation and divorce. It's a petitioner and a respondent. But yeah, I beat her in court because, all of this stuff that she kept presenting was not true. But it was my biggest, bigger faith moment, I think, than, Kuan Yin telling me to, when I was in my teens, that I would go to Hawaii. I would know when, and I would know why. And then I did that, with, no money. Well, I had some money. My monthly income was about $400. I think it was like $419, and then, went up to like $425 while I was there. $465, but yeah, having somebody, legally file a bunch of words that are untrue, and or, what's the word, radical interpretations of, not even the facts, but reality, who I am as a person. So yeah, it was a little whatever. But this is just like it had to do with all of these things, just my evolution and my like, okay, you say you have faith. How's that mustard seed doing? You think you're in alignment with source and you're protected and da-da-da-da-da. Well, let's see how this getting pulled over situation turns out for you. Because I almost didn't go to the game. The only reason that I went, because my daughter was like, whatever, like, well, one, I told her I would go, but if I had said, like, oh, stuff happened that, I was so late by the time I was about to get out the door, and getting out the door, and then the games are only 45 minutes long, and I have to drive, depending on traffic and whatnot, 20 to 45 minutes to get there, or maybe 15, I don't know. No, that's a little bit one of the farther away ones, but, but I was looking forward to going. I'm always looking forward to going, but it was just my little coachy, I like that, coachy, was, going to be there, and it was just going to be a, family basketball game. Just Davis niece family. And so I went, but those are the things that it's like, has to do with resistance and discernment and using your, like, 'cause our free will. How much effort and, here's another obstacle, and another one, and another one, and a boot, and a bop, and beep, bop, boop. That's a lesson, and it's a continual, over and over and over, and a relearning, and a fine-tuning, and a oopsie-daisy, and to get to the point. I'm sorry if I'm making, like, sounds. I just opened my Mentos, and I think I popped 3 of them in my mouth, and they're kind of stale, so they're crunchy-ish, and then minty, saliva-y, whatever. I'm salivating. But yeah, discernment. So I, after the fact, while things are happening, before they happen, like, I was aware of the timing and and had the thoughts like, maybe I should just stay home. And that's a little, like, I just, in that moment there, made a word choice from, I almost said, maybe I'm supposed to stay home, to, whatever I'd change it to. Did I say I should? Whatever, but, like, the point is not like, oh, fate, like, I'm defying fate. Like, I am supposed to, on a, like, cosmic big level. All of this is, like, and keeping in mind that present moment thing, and the way that time is, and potential, and free will, and co-creation with source, you know, just when are you working too hard to do something or whatever? And this is something that I've learned this lesson in many forms, but in studying human design and the way that I'm a, I think, manifesting generator. But my mantra basically is that I should only do things that are a yes, like a yep, either a yes or a yep, oh for sure, totally, boom, bang, bang, and even just yeah, those are the different vibrations, energetic levels, tuning the dial up to fuck yeah, but I don't know if that is one of them, or if that's oh yeah, I really want to make this be something I'm saying yes to. Just paying attention to those things. I'm working on something. The name for it currently is the Bodhi box. Just good alliteration. But it's just a toolkit of, for beginners and of, we're never not, there is no end. There's no yep, I got to the end. I'm enlightened. I got to the end. I know everything. I got to the end, and you're not at the end yet. It's all, keeps moving. That's what I started to draw, I was thinking of the Wheel of Fortune. I think of that tarot card. But for me, it's just been my Witness Productions thing was some form of just keeps, but the Wheel of Fortune and the tarot, but and now if you make this 3D, or I don't know, more D than that, it's what I was saying about it's not just forward, up, down. I got some vision a while ago, kind of there's some Native American, not just, well, yeah, I guess American, Indigenous America's teachings that represent this multi-directionality, but just make that 3D if you can. I usually do it with different colors, left, right, or east, west, up, down, or north, south, and then not just fluctuations of that. It's if you can, yeah, now's not the time, unless it is, and you're seeing what I'm, the first time I looked at a Metatron cube, I just started going crazy with, I'm oh my god, I see that and that and that and that. I could see, and this is, for me, I'm a visual. That's why I liked geometry, because I could visualize it And that has expanded into, you know, not just shapes. I tried to do a box, whatever. But, yeah, I think that's all I have to say on all of this. But, you know, there was a point to that. I might have made it. I might not have. I'm sure I will be talking about whatever it was and whatnot after I win this lottery coming up here. The one I've already won. When you hear this, thank you for that, because you just made my future reality even that much more. Yeah, see, I'm not ready to stop here, but because I lost my way, thanks a lot, guys. To, you know, I just was wrapping up, and then in my just one more thing, because it had to do with like where this started, which was oh yeah, up down. It had to do with the Judeo-Christian belief system and something else. Hopefully you're listening, and for you as a listener, and like it is, you're holding on to whatever degree what I have already said back then. And I lost it, so, but, yeah, life is good. Life is great, and it's growing and expanding, and, yeah, my life is shifting, but, you know, just, oh, that was one thing, it was there we go, the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot, is that, you know, and it's good to keep in mind, you know, unless you're able to just live right there all the time, but for me, any all the time, just right there, my concept of center of this moment of present is, it's not stagnant, because that is impossible, because the only constant in nature is change. So, you know, if you're down here on the wheel, if you're a tarot person, and you're like, oh no, the tower hit me, and I don't know why I just picked white, but like, that's not the best color choice. You know, if you're down in the dumps, or if you're like, ha ha, woo, everything's perfect, I have it all figured out, I'm so enlightened, I know more than you do, la 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 la, I should rule the world. Well, that's true if it is only your world. It could be true for everyone else. But, like, just don't, you know, check your ego at the top here. And that ego is your, you know, your psychological ego, as well as your there's a word that's I'm trying to grasp here. It's multiple words, but just your check your big eye. That never mind. Yeah, check your eye and make sure there's not a plank in it, and while you're looking for splinters that you can pick out of everyone else's eyes, even if you have the best intentions. Don't get too comfortable. Just be in flow, because guess what? Woo! And it could be that fast. Like, oh, I was up there, whoop, thought, okay, went through all the, whatevers. Or it could be really slow. And you're not really paying attention, and then you're like, oh shit, how did I get here? Well, that's how. Alright, I am fucking out of here. I love you. I care about you. Fuck, fine, I'm gonna say it. But I really want to say, comment. Hit me up. Questions. And I'm gonna be so greedy. I'm gonna be that girl. I'm gonna say if you like it, even if you don't love it yet, you could give it that little boop. If you're not too cool for school. And if you're right down here, guess what? No, you're not. You're right up here. And you're right here. So I would appreciate my future present financial social currency, using this platform to and figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to do it. Because if I can't be with you in person at this moment, I'm going to take a pause right here and be with you in person. Wherever you are, sitting, lying, driving your car, on your yacht, looking up at the moon, about to ask your person you love to marry them. And, if you're deciding God, am I a bad person because I want a prenup? No. Just you can always give more than the prenup people. And prenup participants, a lot of times it's like what I said whenever I said it. I'm much more comfortable right now being homeless-ish, hotel living, than sharing a bank account with somebody who is financially entangled with someone else. And that, we both got screwed, quote, in that deal. Riley's mommy and I, we were fucking cruising. We were doing, we were doing this. And then we were on the slow ride, you know, as far as like time moving forward. But, you know, really, we were like in this moment, that pure potential. We were just doing this. Woo! But my flow is, you know, there's a reason I say that's why I get paid the big bucks. And who is ever in my life and awareness, even all of you that I was just sitting with, and then I got on a yacht somehow, and prenups, whoever that person is, hello, like, communication is everything, and you don't know what's gonna happen. Thank God, you know, that's the beauty of it. That's why we're here, you know, yeah, soul evolution and all of that, but this is like, you know, we are infinite beings that make ourselves little and limited and whatnot to have this experience. So, like, just keep that in mind. But so if you're down here like, oh my God, I'm just a little piece of shit, I'm a little ant, and like, you feel like anyone, the universe, your neighbor, your ex-husband, whatever, the government, Donald Trump is just gonna come and, well, if you think they're gonna, well, you know, you're creating that. You're buying into it. You know, don't believe the hype, you know. If it's bullshit, if it's negative, you know. Friday the 13th is not an unlucky day. I made that decision at some point in my teenage years, and it's, you know, it's a lucky day for me, you know. So that is where I started, was, you know, your attitude, your intentions, your belief system, from the most mundane to the, you know, the infinite, the whatever, God, consciousness of me, a blueprint of this is an illusion, this is a video game, you know, the AI robots are going to take over. Well, maybe, but like, I'm going to be friends with them. Like, they're going to hook me up if that is like, and just like, it's all possible. And, you know, use your discernment. Like, you know, don't jump off a cliff because some fucking nut job, including me, if I ever tell you like, oh, yeah, go jump off a cliff. If you believe me, go jump off a cliff. Well, don't do it. Do not listen. And, you know, if you're going to do it anyway, and you want to give me all your money before you do it, okay, you know, I'm not going to say no to that, but if I ask you to, like, give me all your money and then drink my Kool-Aid, well, first, don't do it. Second, make sure that I do it first. And then, I'm looking for my tobacco. And then, you know, you get my point here. Just, like, keep in mind that we do not know how this whole thing works. we set it up that way, you know, when we were not in these bodies and wearing these, you know, skin uniforms or masks or costumes or vehicles or soul decided collection of atoms and vibrations and strings and all that things. You know, just try to have fun with it. That is why my thing is, you know, my enlightenment is funner. Trademark. Copyright. Snarky Sifu. Because as somebody who is obsessed to a degree with clarity of communication, just look at the picture on your screen. Okay? You know, funner. Although now I just saw it in a Sonic ad. I'm like, God damn it, Sonic. I'm gonna have to take you to court for using funner. But, you know, just have fun. Just take a breath. Calm your little soul if you're down here. If you feel like Atlas, you know, if you're down here, like, oh God, fuck. Like, the weight of everything and everyone and God and religion but you know, my priest told me you know, well, consider the source, and if it's making you feel like this, then drop the fucking ball. You know, I did a thing once that was like, I was doing these like visualizations, and like I felt just like so much pressure to, like, you know, I know I'm here for something that is big. Like I used to have, most of my life had, you know, back and neck pain, and I've had massage therapists be like, oh my God, like what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Just like, it was like a brick. And I was like, well, you know, it has to be pretty tough to hold up the world and my mission and all the people that I want to help. And you know, I have, I'm like, blow it up, start over, you know, in my mind. And as someone, that kind of looks like a little sloth now. As someone who, you know, believes that our thoughts and it's energy, it's all energy, and it's just like, you know, don't struggle so hard. Don't resist the ease, you know. The dis-ease is this. You know, if you're just cruising and you're like, hee, I am Atlas and I can hold up the world and diddle-diddle-dee, because I'm that strong that I could like spin the world on my fingertip like this, like a basketball. You know, like, have fun, lighten up. God, my God with the big, you know, OG, wants you to feel like that, not like this, you know. And that's where the belief in a partnership, you know, a co-creation, whoopsie, thank you. I wanted that to go away. It was becoming too like, harmony, balance, like, whew. Like, if you believe in the Bible, God, and, you know, like, look for the metaphor, okay? metaphor. Like, it's not a literal mustard seed, but for me, I saw a piece of popcorn when I was doing a little test run, test flight, whatever, and with no food and no water, and took a walk, and there was like a popcorn kernel that I just started laughing really hard when I saw it. And then I was like, oh, I'm kind of thirsty. And there was and I forgot about the water bottle, but it was one of the water bottles that I was like judgy on. Those, like, it might be Kirkland, but other people, those ones that are like so thin and crinkly that like it's kind of hard not to like squeeze and have the like water squirt out the top. But boop, Uncle Y, like when I got there, same thing. I was walking, and I hadn't taken this walk before. It was from Lihue back to the North Shore, which is pretty much the whole island, at least this half of it. And mango on the side of the road, like perfect mango, not rotten, not like, oh, thanks God, I have to, because it doesn't work like that for me. So however you work it, however you create your own moment, relationship with yourself, that is number one. Because when you fall in love with yourself like a parent to a child, or if you don't have kids and don't know that experience, how you feel about your animal babies, or whatever it is that you love the most outside of yourself, love yourself. I was going to say 10 times, but I'm like 100 times more. And like whenever you forget to do that, which like I had to like really, it's still a struggle for me, but it is my goal, because while I am focusing all of this attention on myself and love, and like my eye is still on the prize, which is doing more and more and more and on a bigger scale and whatever. But I got to the point where like, well, what if I don't create that healing center that I've been working towards for 20 years exactly. Interesting. I got to the point that like I had to let go of that. Like, I don't think that it would, well, see, that's the funny thing. It's like, haha, like, it's a paradigm, it's a paradox, it's a, two things are true at the same time. I don't think I would have gotten to where I know that the potential is huge. I was thinking so small, and knowing that like, all the spiritual YouTube people and the Bible, and, when Jesus's minions were like, Master, the things that you do, like, oh my God, it's so, like, how is that possible? And Jesus is like, not only, like, I think it says, like, through my Father or whatever, like, Jesus is just a vessel for source, in the Bible, it's his pops, but, he says to his boys, he's like, and girls, I think, Mary Magdalene, and they were all there, There's a lot left out of the Bible and Bibles and books, and, and even what we do have, although now we have access to so much more, because the truth will come. Like, it cannot be, like, you can't, all the people in the power and the whatever, no matter how hard they try to hold us down or whatever, but to me, I think that's just part of the design, so that we get to the realization that that is the illusion, the poverty, it's a mindset. It is a real thing, but what is painful and difficult, and the Buddhist thing, like, life is suffering. Well, once you get beyond that in your thinking, it's literally a, like, fake it till you make it, but believe it, and believe it until you receive it. Hallelujah. Thank you for that. You hear what I'm saying? Like, whew, that is my thing. And if this is it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it by saying, you know what? No, I don't want to be in this relationship, in this situation, in this place, in this whatever. Like, no, it is not serving me, And in my service in those situations, I could have woken up a lot sooner to this isn't serving me, and therefore I am not in service in the highest potential that I can be. So, put on your own oxygen mask. But, like, it really is, it's all about love. And for me, like, love and freedom, boop. That should be the American way. But, yeah, we all gotta get on board, people. Ride the soul train. Come on. I can't remember the soul train. Oh, is that Soul Train? Love Train. The OJs. There you go. But, same. But, yeah. I'm doing this and it feels really good, and I'm not hungry, So hopefully I'm feeding you in some way, and you'll, like, boop boop, that's the thing. Like, all the Jesus stories about, like, the fish and the loaves and the wine and I'm like, hell yeah. Like, of course that's true, because I believed it before I received it. Hallelujah. All right. Reverend Dr. Snarky Sifu is out of here. Hopefully I will be talking to you, and you'll be talking back at me soon. All right. Love you. Peace.